being reminded that we need to be considerate of accessibility. So there's an extension that you can use called Wave. I have the extension right here. And when you run it, it'll do kind of like a diagnostic check to see how accessibility friendly your website is. And even for something so simple, it's a good thing to run because, lo and behold, I have a lot of errors going on here. Most of these issues that are popping up are a result of me building this website from scratch. So pat on the back on one hand for people who would rather use a template, use something like WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, avoid a lot of those issues because essentially you're using a template. You're probably going to avoid most of these errors that I'm having. But one of the main issues that's come to my attention is, okay, we have, clear direction here, writing, music, projects, an about page. So some indication of what's going to be happening if we're navigating this website. At the bottom with the footer, sleek-wise, okay, goes to show you I'm using an outdated icon for Twitter, YouTube, GitHub, and this envelope, which we would assume is the contact email. That works for someone who is somewhat web savvy, someone who can understand, but you can see there's a lot of these red errors pertaining to that footer section. And if we do the Wave check, whoops, no, not if we do the Wave check. If we use a screen reader, so a lot of these people who might be visually impaired or they might need some visual assistance, they're probably going to use a screen reader. Let's see what happens when we use one.
John Dow, analyst and developer.
Okay. So again, it doesn't look like it's popping up on the OBS, but you probably heard it. The only thing that the screen reader recognized was John Dow, analyst and developer. It didn't even read and register writing, music, projects, or about. And on top of that, because I don't have any text tags at the bottom here, and that was the main thing that Wave recognized, it says empty link. Like if we click these items here, it definitely takes us to, it takes me to X. If I click the YouTube, it takes me there to one of my many YouTube pages. But it's an empty link because there's no real description attached. If we go back to the Chrome Developer Tools, again, Control-Shift-I, and let's say I want to inspect this element. Yeah, there is nothing there in this area except the URL. So I know that with HTML, when we're using image elements, we have something called the alternate text. This is just an example of what an image HTML code will look like. We have the preview here. All right. And we have this alt text. So when you use a screen reader, it will be able to describe that. And a lot of people think that the alternate text is for SEO. I think it might have a hand in that, but it's like, again, the priority to, if we can't see it, we still want to have a sense of what's going on, what's on the page there. And let's test it with the screen reader real quick.
Alt equals girl in a jacket.
Okay, so it does recognize that there's an image with a girl in a jacket there. The thing about the HTML, though, is this alternate text, I have the right idea that I need something like that, but the alternative text is exclusive to the image HTML tag. So I had to check with AI what's something similar that we can use, and that would be ARIA attributes. So when I go back, I'm going to do this off stream, but when I'm working on my website, I think I need to do something like an ARIA label. And I believe it would function in just about the same way. Yeah. So here in the example they attach it to a button, but here we did alternate text, girl in a jacket. When I go back and I go to this footer, when I go to that HTML element, so we have the ahref, and that's the URL that takes us to Twitter. I'll put an ARIA label that says link to Twitter, something like that. URL to Twitter. If I would have just had the text Twitter or something more explicit, I probably wouldn't need to do that. And I think this mistake of not having clear labels on these icons, I don't think that's just a me mistake. I think a lot of modern websites aren't going to really take that into consideration. Or they should, but I don't know. If we tested another website real quick where it has a lot of buttons, but let's see what the screen reader catches.
House of the Dragon Season 2 Finale Review. Latest news. Autoplay setting.
Okay. So there's... I don't think any of these are recognized. Or maybe if I scroll down, let's see.
House of the Dragon Season 2 Finale Review.
Yeah, none of that's getting picked up.
Beetlejuice, 1988. Beetlejuice resurrected at new streaming.
Okay, so again, I don't know why the screen reader preview text isn't showing up on the OBS capture, but this one has a lot more. It definitely doesn't seem like the footer section with the icons are being recognized. Those social links, most websites put it at the bottom, right? They're not going to put it at the top. If we try Noisy Pixel, where I believe their buttons are at the top.
Suda51 Not Against the Shadows of the Damned, Hella Remastered Sequel, wants to revive old Grasshopper titles, Flower, Sun, and Raranan. Following the release date announcement, Star Wars Outlaw.
What is a website that has their social links at the top? Oh, they have it here. Let's see if...
Character rosters. Show all. Discover the full roster of your favorite game along with character abilities, matchups, stats, and guides. Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6, Scooters. Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising. 2XKO. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Tekken 7.
Yeah, so it goes through the list and it's reading what's coming through here. But again, this section with the icons isn't getting read by the screen reader. And if we do inspect element here, I'm going to assume that they probably don't have an ARIA label either. So we're trying to fudge the desktop because we need to see these icons popping up. If we do just straight up mobile preview, you notice that the social links aren't there. Yeah, they're there. And it makes sense if you scroll down. This is like way more easy to read on mobile than having it scrunched up like we saw here. But I want to check the section. Yeah, it's mainly the URL. And it looks like some analytical data for traceback that's included there, but nothing really descriptive, like I was suggesting that I would probably add on my site.